Okay, we'll go ahead and call our company. Eyes for the pledge of allegiance. One nation.
Paula here, Council Foster, Mayor Zinsky,
Here.
Council Panessa.
Here.
Council Rosso.
Here.
Council Beef. Here. There you have.
So we have need some citizens next, if anyone, in the audience and the jam packed audience out here will speak, or on Zoom, now would be the time.
I have something I'd like to talk about.
Yeah.
Andra Miller, 1231 Orchard Road.
Great, thank you. Go ahead.
I'm calling, I would like to talk about a meeting that I attended on June 26th. It was the Commission of Aging. And at that meeting, they had the chairman, Bajorski, speak on behalf of the Housing Authority, the Berlin Housing Authority. And after listening to him speak and looking for some questions, I went out to the website for the Berlin Housing Authority and I didn't find any current agendas, meeting minutes, or anything that he referred to in his conversations. There's the only agenda I found out there was for 2021. And during this meeting, he discussed about, because there was the subject of bed bugs came up, and he brought up that OSHA had been out there and did an inspection, and I asked about the report of that, if it was online, and he said no. And I asked why, and he answered they're down in Marjorie Moore. So I guess my question is since this commission, or yeah, it's a commission, is appointed by the council, it seems that they kind of work in a vacuum and they report to no one, and their information about their commission and their meetings is really nowhere to be found online unless you go down to the Marjorie Moore building.
Oh, so it's down there.
That's what I was told. And I don't quite understand why it's not online, because I know they don't report to the town. I guess they don't report to the state, but our town council appoints them. So they should be accountable somewhat to the town of Berlin.
What was that? Commission meeting? Was that the Berlin Housing Authority? Do you think was that his meeting? Or was it our, because I think, where was that, at the senior center?
It was over at the senior center. It was, yeah, at Percival on the 26th of June.
Gunbox runs it, right? Yeah. So, okay, so.
Senior, is that house?
Well, that's what I'm wondering, I'm asking, because did Joe, was he kind of running the meeting under, or was Barbara running the meeting?
Well, Barbara brought him in as a guest to talk about, because I guess there were complaints that were given to the Commission of Aging, and I guess they invited Joe to come there and address some of these things. He was probably supposed to address the Knights of Columbus situation too, but things came up like bed bugs and broken washing machines, and there were a lot of concerned Berlin citizens that live in those buildings about bed bugs, mold, broken washing machines. And I guess I just don't understand. It seemed to me the way Chairman Bajorsky addressed the concerns was, well, the first one, when somebody said that your washing machine was broken, he said, if you don't like it there, you can move. And unfortunately, that's something you tell your 17-year-old kid when he doesn't live under your rules. So I think he addressed that problem right off the bat wrong. So my concern here is that we're not, this housing authority doesn't seem to report to anybody, is not accountable to anyone.
Yeah, so, and in that meeting, I guess we don't, well, maybe after tonight, we don't record,
Was it
Yeah.
Audra, do you? I'm sorry,
It's Donna. Do you know if that meeting was recorded by any chance? No.
I don't believe so. I know they had a secretary that I believe was taking notes, but it the secretary probably wasn't taking the notes during Chairman Bajorsky's presentation. They probably, because it was the Commission of Aging. So he came in first and he spoke, and then after he left, they picked up their agenda items and started again with their meeting.
what do you think? Dave?
So, just so you know, and Andra, you know this, the Commission for Aging does. The Commission for Aging does file agendas and minutes, but all the boards and commissions for the town do so.
Mhm.
Housing Authority does not, they're created by state agency, the same, they will send us some sometimes, if we have them. And also it's like Madabassett, Central Connecticut Health District, those are all kind of on their. But
But so now there are minutes of the meeting, that should be posted somewhere.
the minutes from the Commission on Aging are put on the website. And their agendas are put on the website, and they're, but they don't necessarily take they don't have Zoom
Yeah,
over at the senior center.
so the minutes of that meeting, if we have those minutes,
It should, I can double check.
we just check and see what was in the minutes of that meeting.
Andrea, what was the date on that, those minutes?
I believe it was June 26th.
Okay, so.
So,
So the issue, though,
no, he was there at the meeting.
He was a guest speaker. So I'm sure whatever Chairman Bajorsky presented was not put into their minutes bullet by bullet. I think he was just, it may be, if they put anything in, I should have gone and looked. But if they put anything in, they may have just said that Chairman Bajorsky was of the Berlin Housing Authority spoke or did a presentation. I guess where I'm going with this is my concern is that the Berlin Housing Authority Commission has nowhere online where they put their agendas, their minutes, any OSHA reports that come through for either one of those properties, which definitely affects this town. Because these residents go into our restaurants, they use our facilities, and I'm just a little concerned that this information is not out there for the public to see.
Yeah, well, as are we in hearing it. So Berlin Housing Authority, do they put their, when they have a board meeting, do they put their?
we have, sometimes we get their agendas and sometimes we get their minutes. So if we get their minutes, we don't put them online.
Okay,
They follow the other boards and commissions that are outside per se.
yeah, I'd say that.
And also, if they do post, like I got an agenda today, for the 14th. So that was posted on our board, but not on our website.
I mean, they have their own website.
I don't think they have, but I think John's was saying is that they
So
don't.
we don't have anything
Yeah.
to see what. So that's-
Where somebody should be reporting something.
Well,
Yeah.
Does the council have authority to question?
That's it. This is true, that's it.
Happy to going forward, I'll put up whatever they sent me. Again, we kind of have the idea of not doing the outside boards and commissions, but do whatever you guys do.
Well, for years I've questioned where the money go. You get a blank stare. I would love to see some more accountability.
No doubt about that. Well, especially in light of, we have had a couple letters written from residents about, issues like bed bugs and different things that they've found.
So I want to make you aware of another situation, and that is, you probably know that, or you remember downstairs with the expansion of the police department, we had to take all that material out of there, have it scanned in the process of that and everything. In addition, right now, nothing's being loaded onto Laserfiche right now. Laserfiche is now, we're in between. We're going from Laserfiche to this Dropbox. And until we complete that whole merger and that whole changeover, we're not adding anything into Laserfiche at this point. So minutes are not being posted 100%. If we have, and it's just because we can't keep posting onto Laserfiche because we're doing the changeover hopefully at the end of the month.
So it shouldn't be much longer.
It won't be long, but anything that we add into Laserfiche now. It's not coming over, we've already done the move over from Laserfiche into Dropbox. And no, I don't know how Dropbox works, so
We just request the housing authority to be more open with their meeting minutes and see where we go from there. Let's get something out in the public, start somewhere.
I can, I'm happy to post whatever you want me to post.
Maybe we should bring it to the council, we write them a letter and we check that they view them.
I don't think to even to go that far, I'm happy to call them and let's see how it does.
Well, let's see what happens when you call. Would you let me know before the next council meeting, maybe we would invite Mr. Jaworski here to.
Some of it might just be perception. I mean, some of these things that people objecting to might just be perception. There's always two sides of the story, so I'd like to hear both sides.
Yes.
Excuse me,
Yes.
I'm sorry,
Yeah, but-
what did Commissioner Pianessa say?
Oh, he just, we just want to, Kate's gonna talk to the housing authority about posting things and just see what happens, but we probably, Andrea, again, probably going to have Mr. Jaworski come and just talk to us about a few things like this, as well as what's kind of an update also on the two senior housing developments, how they're doing, because I've heard complaints about mold and bed bugs, and I believe they just fired the manager that was managing it from the management company. I know that did happen, I guess, so. But, so that's it, that's if. I would take that as a good thing, if there's complaints, if she's the manager, that hopefully that's, but let's have Mr. Jaworski. Most likely we'll invite him to our next council meeting at the 25th.
Well,
Yeah.
just as an FYI, the next meeting for the Berlin Housing Commission is tomorrow evening at 5 o'clock, right down at Marjorie Moore. If anybody's interested, because I will definitely go. I wish it was being held outside where the bed bugs probably aren't, but I definitely will be there.
Okay, so in their office down here, I take it?
I guess so. I guess so. They hold their meetings once the second Wednesday of every month at 5 o'clock at Marjorie Moore. He did tell everybody that was at that meeting at the Commission of Aging.
Okay. So I think maybe we'll just put that on the agenda for the next council meeting. We invite Mr. Dvorsky to, and then we could ask him.
Yes, to keep us up.
Yeah, he knows, we want to keep him up to date about the new project too, which I assume closed today.
Supposed to.
Did it close?
Yeah, well, just got an email from Joe. I asked folks to all the documents are signed from the housing authority, send it to the lender who countersigned everything. And according to him, the money was wired, but was Western was co-signed, so banks are supposed to your confirmation to see it come from the loan.
Oh, okay,
Everything went well.
that's good to hear.
Got wired, they don't know where it got wired.
Oh, by the way, it's not aging, the last minute's supposed to be changed. So June is still not posted.
In May?
Yeah.
Before the Commission of Aging?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm looking for, so the June one, we don't have, it was in June, Andrew, right?
June 26th was the meeting of the Commission of Aging, and I think that was their last one for the summer.
4th of July.
Yeah, no, we'll just see if it's in there. I'll be curious to see when it's posted, what they reported on, so. Something we'll pay attention to, definitely, Andrew, but I think we're gonna just, let's just make that an agenda item for the meeting, is to invite Mr. Dvorsky here, because we do have some concerns, we have heard complaints, and I know he's handling them, and I know, like I say, he did apparently, terminate that woman who was the manager, apparently, a woman that was the manager. So we can get a full report on what's going on there, and on the closing, if, see what else they had to say. Hopefully he starts right away and working on the new senior housing, so. Anything else, Andrew?
No, I want to thank the council for their time and attention to this matter. Thank you.
Appreciate you bringing it up.
Our attention.
Thanks. Anyone else on the Zoom there? The meeting wishes to speak? Okay, hearing none, we'll go ahead and close the audience of citizens, go on just to my report. I just have a couple more questions, just a couple questions. When the tax bills came out, I saw no pie chart. And I thought the pie chart was forevermore gonna be in our tax bill. What happened to the pie chart?
I don't know whether my understanding was not forever, but we put a Berlin DNA.
I saw that, and that's great,
Yeah,
but still want the pie chart.
we'll
Can,
put it next time.
no, gotta go out this year.
How did that get? It was supposed to be ongoing from now on. We
Yeah.
went through that whole thing last year to make sure that people understood where the monies were being spent.
So from what I understand from the revenue collector's office, some people are not even sure what this pie chart is. They're bringing back and say, why are you wasting money?
Wasting money on telling the taxpayers where their money's going.
I'm just telling you, but
We probably need a re-education of the tax collector's office if they're feeling that way. This,
no, these are what people come and give it back to us.
give what back?
The pie chart, give it back
Oh,
to the revenue collector.
don't they give it to them?
I don't know.
Don't they read it?
Don't
And
even-
the taxpayer, I want to see. what-
Yeah, I mean, so can we do like maybe a postcard? But it's a tax,
I mean, sure, we can do it.
yeah, let's do it. Yeah, in the meantime, I mean, did we do a, I assume we have a pie chart. We
Do we know
can
what
do
the
a pie
breakdown
chart.
is? Do we know what the breakdown is this year?
I'm sorry.
Do we know what the breakdown is percent? Do we?
It is for the board of finance and book.
Oh.
Right?
I thought we saw a pie chart.
Yeah.
So can we post it? On our website, but can we do, I think it needs to go out. And if they don't know what it's about, we'll explain it to them.
What do you want to say on those
Postcard.
first that this is how? What's the message?
The message is, here's where your tax dollars go.
Got it.
And basically, what did we say last time on the chart? Let's look at last year. If I can find it all.
I
Yeah.
think that
See, whatever we explain on the post. which would be, I would hope, cheaper to mail out, a little bit less expensive, you know, well.
It's gonna.
Something, yeah. Can we see it too before it goes out, maybe at a council meeting, and see what we, like, you know, maybe not a little tiny, but I don't, you know,
I mean, they have like.
yeah, a little bit bigger. You know,
Postcard or?
well, I mean,
It's got 3x5
next,
size, I think it's a 5x8 or something.
I mean, just see what you come up with, we'll let you,
Doesn't get lost in the shuffle.
right, does that make sense, just.
We can do whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but we're gonna continually,
Yeah, forever.
forever and ever.
We also try to be, economically responsible. If you had to put two, we can pay for it month, no, we can pay for this one. Since the
Who
beginning,
paid for the V and A, their budget?
yeah, it's part of the. Right, that there's a lot of emphasis on the V and A.
Yeah, that's, no, I thought that was good.
Guys, get it to all the residents, let them know what's going on. So, but if you want to get the pie chart, we'll separate one.
Yeah, I think it needs to go to people. People do appreciate looking at it, I think, I guess some people don't understand it, yeah. I'm sure they do, most people probably understand it, but I would think pie charts pretty easy, you know, probably the simplest thing to look at. Just to know where their tax dollars are going, I think it's important. So, yeah, see what you think of it, see what you can find, come back to them, appreciate that. The next meeting before we send it out, see if it looks
Give
good.
you some.
And whatever we said last year on, I think we have a little, not much, but a little bit of
I'll pull that out. All right.
like 3 or 4 lines maybe on the bottom of it. Something like that. Appreciate that. And just another question, the car tax bills, were they always separate? Usually it came in one bill, did they separate them this year? Because I got a separate bill for each car, but I'm sure.
You guys know over the years.
I've got it separate.
Mine's always been separate.
Yeah, mine was always.
Yeah, separate.
In my town, I get it separated. So.
But I think last year they put them together.
Yeah, there was one bill for all the cars.
Sometimes I'll get 3 in one, 4 in one, like.
It's registered. Well, they get comes on the- it's base.
What do you think?
From children, I get them separated. So it's sort of my name.
Yeah.
And all of them, so.
Yeah. I don't think the ones that are registered in. I mean, the one with one of ours is registered with my son and us, that's separate, I get that, it's a different name on it, but pretty sure.
Okay, either way.
I'm pretty sure that some are registered the same, it's different bills, but I mean, I don't. Do you remember what we got?
Last year, everything was on,
That's what I thought.
except for the separate,
Yeah.
which came in after the September cutoff. So they picked it up in the October update, but this year they're all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
That's it. Well, different, different. levels. Yeah. So talking about saving expense. I think you just quadrupled the expense, however many they have. I think
Last week, so I didn't open the tax bill. But there's about this many of them sitting at this counter.
Right. I'll get again. They just spread them out, just what they thought was equal.
So we tried to reach across the aisle.
You pay with your mortgage.
So.
She got the car. Just call. Unless your mortgage company's bringing us to the car.
Jane,
Because
but to get the assessment update that went out,
My cost.
excuse me. And to get the assessment update that went out.
Sure.
You need to start.
I know we're all sitting there, this week.
To see it. Obviously, something.
So. Do another law, and I was done law, but
You get the bill.
Good.
Yeah. Smell.
That impact that you can't avoid.
We could have
This week.
Well, at the end of.
I heard it's true. The day my team was getting married, and they said,
That's right, they think it's that. They know that, no, one's elected. Check again. Right, so again, if they're all registered in the same name, same address, it would be the same. What we send out for. Yeah, let us know. One final thing, so for this, and will happily there, like. The pension calculations, now for a year, we talked about everyone's gonna have an individual circumstance, so depending upon their time, I mean, it's actuarial calculation, we understood that always. But we always said that, the new guys obviously probably wouldn't have enough in their pension plan and their 401k to pay, right? And we always said everyone's a different scenario. But everyone came out the same, other than, I believe, 2 people, maybe 3 officers. They get a little money back, but everyone else didn't get any, there wasn't any extra money, let's say, when we put in their payout, whatever calculation they did. But, remember, I mean, you were there, remember every time we said probably there's gonna be, everyone's set different scenario, depending on their sex, their time on the job, and whatever the algorithm does.
Yeah.
We said that, we can go back, Arosh, we said that how many times to the union? So they were shocked as I was shocked when I heard it.
So
That was not, and the actuaries were in the room with us when we said it. No one ever corrected that point. We made it time again.
what the union
Yes,
came up with was to take based on the years of service.
okay,
Years of service and based on the number of years of service and months,
right,
you would get an allocation.
yeah,
Compare that to what was in your
right,
contribution
right,
price. So everybody had a different number. They said everybody had 20 years of service.
right,
Your expected contribution would be the same.
well, depending on your,
No, step one, what is expected?
yes,
Step two, you compare it to what you had in your DC plan.
yeah,
And some had more, some had less.
Right.
So everybody will have a different
yeah,
number based on what is expected versus what you have in your DC plan.
right,
Now, the way the numbers work, except for 2 people,
yes,
everybody else
didn't have enough.
didn't have enough.
That kind of,
No, not based on the calculation.
I thought so.
It's very simple.
Why were they shocked at that?
Maybe everybody thought they were going to get the DD plan and have the DC also.
Well, they thought they were gonna have extra, right? We talked about, that's what we.
They didn't want to get into this
Yeah,
age and years of service and gender and all.
oh, so they didn't take the gender into
No,
it.
nothing.
Oh,
It's just
yeah.
straight years of service. And everybody said for a year of service, you would have this much coming out.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
No, that's what I'm asking, what they did, what
So
they,
that's the formula that ran
and they
everyone.
knew that.
That's what they wanted. So
That's
you-
what they wanted?
Yes.
That's funny.
I mean, if you want, to go back and recalculate all this other stuff, I don't think we should do that.
No, I don't either. You know what I think, Roach? I
okay,
think,
nobody's gonna agree on it,
yes, agreed.
because when we first initially ran the numbers,
Yes,
they all had a different theory on what the actuarial assumption should be,
yes,
what the mortality table should be, what the assumed interest rate should be.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a disaster.
Yeah.
Because everybody could come up with a theory.
Right.
That would benefit their own contribution. This is very straightforward.
yeah,
If you had a year of service, 20 years of service, 1 year of service will be X. X times whatever the current formula is.
did they not maybe understand that that's what the result would be? But, and so you think if they did take into account gender and some other characteristics, it would have been a different result, maybe? Possibly.
Simply.
Yeah, I just wonder, and I don't think they're bringing it officially, but the word filtered back that, like, people, they were upset at it. and someone passed the message to them, well, then they come to the town if you're upset, but if you're telling me that, hey, they knew what that, well, some people knew it in the union knew, right? Maybe
We're
we'll-
working with the union leadership,
I know.
nobody has said anything.
it sounds like so these, I'm guessing these are probably union members.
What to tell you,
I know what to tell you, that the union leadership probably doesn't communicate with their own numbers, that's what it sounds like to me, based upon what we just talked about, which is sad, but that's the way, if that's the way it is, I don't understand that, why there's.
so at this point, I was gonna report on this.
Yeah.
The town, contribution would be $1.7 million, $1,770,158.
Is that what we thought? When we had it all
So,
over the place?
amortized over 10 years, that's
Yeah.
177. The budget we were planning for was 139.
Oh,
It's like a $38,000 difference. It's not, but again.
Yeah.
That's today.
Right.
At the end of August, depending on who gets in.
Yeah.
And the market value, they'll rerun the numbers.
Right.
So,
okay,
but we are in the range, we were projecting around 1.7.
oh,
We had a range from 1.3 to
lower.
2.1.
Right.
To the middle is 1.7, so we're fairly close to that.
Good, no, that's good, that's all good,
So everybody's got an individual letter with
Oh.
their amount, they have 60 days.
Right.
By end of August, and when you work with the union leadership, they said, well, people should be turning around even faster because everybody
what is there, 2 people that got,
will have more in their DC.
then they're, yeah, that's doing have to be, yeah. No, that's fine, as long as they, it comes from different folks or different folks, and I assume maybe not everybody gets the message. I think the message kind of went back, like, talk to your union leadership, that message did go back. I'm just curious if, what happened, right? Because, we talked about this ad nauseum, so I just.
So, bottom line, this is a great plan.
Yes, I know,
Town is picking up the difference, they're going back and recreating this section for 20 years, as if you have contributed
from the beginning,
from the beginning.
yes, I agree.
At 8%, you didn't contribute, nobody contributed that amount, right? So.
No, I agree. That's why I was surprised to hear rumbling. Again, unofficially, not officially. But, so I just wanted to ask, but now I get it, because remember we did talk about gender, remember we talked about gender differences, we did talk about all that in our discussion. It was talked about, not when we came to the final point, the gender came up and, men and women could be different depending upon how they run the numbers. We know that, any formula you want. The actuaries, right? So this is what.
I'm just a little bit annoyed right now
Yeah.
because we send individual letters,
Yeah.
things to the amount.
Right.
If you have any questions, please call.
Yeah,
Nobody has called,
no big
right?
deal.
So it's just a little going round and round.
Yes.
If you have a question, call, we'll explain.
Yeah.
Actually, the union leadership took on themselves, which is great because they said to answer that via email or send it by mail, nobody will probably open it.
Yeah,
Roll call, distribute. So
Oh, good.
Gets it,
excellent.
got all that done, so.
No, I'm happy to
All
know.
myself, Kevin, nobody has heard anything from anyone.
Well, I think the message might go back like, yeah, same thing, like if you have something to bring up, bring it up, but otherwise talk to your union leadership, if it didn't come from the union, from someone in a leadership position, so. Good, no, I'm happy to hear that, I just, when I heard it, I was disturbed myself, like I figured that we had all worked all this out, so, good, no, that's good. Good to hear, okay. All right, that's all we have, so I guess I went into some of your reports, so your report will be shorter now, right?
Nothing.
Okay, all right, we'll go ahead and, that's the end of the mayor's update, meeting agenda, we'll go to our consent agenda. What do we have here? One. We can 5 topics, we have the donations to the Berlin Animal Control. We have accept monetary donations. The library agency account for the purchase of young adult books. We have our Berlin Senior Center was the first one, sorry, staff $1,000. Number 4, received section 824 report from planning and zoning commission, authorized town manager to proceed with the connectivity sidewalk project subject to receipt of the grant. Then we have approved the request for technical electronic stuff to waive all fees associated with having a Berlin police officer at Berlin High School to control the traffic for those attending performance of the village management area. The total amount of the fee to be waived is approximately $377. So that is our consent agenda. Do you have any questions on that or comments? If we do not have any, we're going to take a motion.
I move we accept the agenda as presented.
Second on that?
Second.
Thank you. Hearing no other questions or comments, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carries on to our public hearing. So I'm gonna go ahead and call the hearing to order. And hey, you want me to just read that? Sure, this for the town council of town of Berlin will meet at Berlin Town Hall, Council Chambers, 240 in Berlin, Connecticut, on Tuesday, July 11th, 2023 at 7 p.m. for the purpose of holding a public hearing on the proposed ordinance of the town as follows: require certain boards and commissions to provide remote access and record all meetings. Copies of said proposed ordinance is on file open to public inspection at the office of the town clerk. So that brings us to public comments on this. This was something that there was, I guess, a couple boards and commissions, but which there was two that we elected. What was the?
It's actually all of them are listed on the action of the item. We actually listed all of the board commissions, not just elected, there were some others that had a regulatory component that we wanted to add. So like the Water Control Commission, zoning boards of appeal.
Oh, yeah, we added,
Yeah, and all of that in addition to the elected board.
So we added all those on?
Yeah.
Because of the regulatory function, that's right. And we had this discussion, of course, in the ordinance committee. Yes, so we have the Board of Police Commissioners, Board of Assessment Appeals, Board of Finance, Board of Ed, Council, Ordinance Committee, Conservation Commission, Wetlands, Water Course, for obvious reasons, planning and zoning, and some of obviously many of them do it now, Water Control Commission, Zoning Board of Appeals. Should be recorded via Zoom or other conferencing platforms. The town shall provide adequate notice. Meetings, including when the meetings are to be held in person, hybrid, or fully remote, in accordance with Connecticut law, and meetings shall likewise be conducted in compliance with applicable law, including the Connecticut Freedom of Information Act. So yeah, this is what we came up with in the ordinance committee. So if there's anyone in the public that has any comments, now would be your time. Guess we'd be looking more online if there's anyone. Hearing none, we'll go ahead and close those public comments.
No, wait.
Sorry, Joan?
Yeah, hang on. I'm sorry, I could not unmute myself, so I'm hoping that you can hear me now.
Hear you.
Okay, thank you very much. Anyway, I just wanted to touch briefly on just a couple of concerns I had with the ordinance. It seems to apply to some of the commissions, but not all of the commissions. And I think if you create an ordinance, it should apply equally across the board. That would be my first point. My second point is when it comes to Zoom meetings, sometimes the commissioners or committee members remain at home for whatever reason and they Zoom in. And this is a problem when you get to a commission meeting where the executive session becomes part of that meeting. Because now you have the complexity of letting that person Zoom in to the executive commission, but you do not control the environment that they're in. And so it raises a question that if you're in executive session, and let's say, Mayor Mark, you're Zooming in to our executive session for whatever commission, how do I know who's in the background listening in on the conversation? There's no guarantee, there's no safeguard for executive session. So I question that, I raised the question, and I'm not sure what the answer is, but I think it's something that we have to look at.
Yes, agreed. But what we do on the council, for instance, is we end the Zoom meeting and they call in on a phone number. So it's just that person on the phone, the members of the town council and whoever we invite to the meeting, so it's completely separate from Zoom and, you know, I mean, obviously, we're, I'm sort of kind of all on our honor not to have an executive session shared, but yeah, go ahead, Rob.
Joan, hi, this is Rosh, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you.
Couple of options, just the first one that the mayor described, the second one is you could send a separate link for another Zoom meeting, so that people get out of the meeting and come back in. The third option that we haven't done, but I've seen it in other environments, is to, you can have a separate meeting room, and lock people out. It's a little bit, it's not complicated, a lot of people do it, but that might be the third option. If it's too much to go in and out of a meeting, you can stay in one meeting. They're called rooms. There are meeting rooms that you invite people, certain number of people into a room, and that's available in Zoom. That's available in WebEx, and it's also available in Google Meet. Right? Yeah. Thank you. There'll be a learning curve here, but I think we can accommodate that with the combination of these.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good. And the other thing, John, I think what we, you know, we understand, I mean, I understand your first point too, but we discussed it about including everybody, and it does become a little cumbersome. And I don't want to pick on any one commission, but there are some that, you know, would be difficult to do probably there. No. Yeah, oh, yeah, I can add some, but, and I think we picked the ones that we thought drew the most public attention and were regulatory and certainly were elected. I mean, certainly the elected ones are number one on the list. If they're elected, I think it's really in today's world. And you got a lot of people that, you know, do Zoom in. Hence today, everyone in our meeting is Zooming in. So I think that's why we looked at the ones we picked, not to overburden the town with, you know, pace to every meeting, but to the ones that are, you know, again, maybe more, I don't know what the right word is, more critical to running our town, and probably draw the most attention from the public, I think, as well.
Now, who will set up the Zoom meetings then? Or, you know, to be fair, Mayor Mark, I believe that most of the commissions that you had stated, if I heard them completely, and at my end, the language is a little garbled, so I apologize in advance. But I believe they all participate in Zoom meetings now anyway.
But the ones that I mentioned,
Yes.
I don't think they do. That's why we added them in the ordinance.
Not all of them do.
Not all of them. Some
Okay.
might. Yeah, I think, I mean, John, though it's Board of Police Commissioners, Board of Assessment Appeals, Board of Finance does, Board of Education does, Town Council does, Ordinance Committee. I don't think Conservation Commission does. Inland Wetlands, I don't, does, obviously you do, Planning and Zoning does, of course. Border Control Commission and Zoning Board of Appeals does not, right? Zoning Board of Appeals did not, or does it? I don't think it does.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're right, some of them do, but that's, we kind of just put them all together, so these are the ones, including the ones that do it, like P and Z and council and all that.
Okay. And who will set up the Zooms for the meetings?
So staffing it.
Staff will do that, much like we, like, you know, right, you have, and
Okay.
council, yeah,
Right now, that's how it's done.
yeah, we'll do it the same way, Joe.
Okay. All righty. But those were my concerns. So thank you for listening to them.
Yeah, valid concerns, and definitely understood, but I think we can overcome that, and I think, I have heard from folks that, you know, folks don't want to go to certain meetings, they want to Zoom in, or they're busy, or so I think that, you know, I think the ones that we've chosen, again, certainly priority is our elected officials, they all should be able to Zoom in. 2023, right, since we have that option, so that's real, that was kind of the thought, just to help our residents not have to get in their car and drive, and or if they're on vacation and they want to Zoom in, as some of us on the council, on planning and zoning, Peter always takes advantage of it anytime. He's
Okay.
enjoying life as he should as a retired person. But, so yeah, that's kind of the purpose, John, just, do the best we can to get things out to the public and make sure everything's transparent.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure, especially with the executive sessions, that that is protected.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And that's, we certainly have that, you know, capacity, which we do, you know, it's definitely.
Maybe.
Okay.
Go to
Again,
observe thing. If
thank you.
someone, and they're on an executive session,
Always call.
yes, calling in or whatever, you know, medium they're using. That we, you know, once we put this into effect, there's also a sort of, you know, memorandum of understanding or some type of directive that goes out that
Understand what you're.
right, when you're in executive session, ensure that you're in a room by yourself, which is really just the concern, you really don't know what's going on, who might be sitting next to the person. So I think we do need to have some type of statement and agreement that when using, you know, a remote platform for an executive session, that there are some rules that you abide by, you know.
Set up.
So making sure that the committees and boards and whatnot that are going to now have the option of using this, that when it's executive session, there's some type of statement.
Yeah.
There should be like some guidelines as to how to use, how one should participate in some capacity. Because it's true, you know, if it's supposed to be exclusive when you're in executive session, then people need to commit to ensuring that, you know, there's not. That they are really the only person.
I think maybe whatever, maybe we could do it in a page, I would hope we could just get it,
Yeah.
maybe, but get it maybe to everybody, all of us, that doing that. Reminded of.
All we need to do is have a statement and understanding that everybody makes too.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
Should have a speaker in setting, you know, say, I hate to say this, but your spouse and family should not. Be together.
Ensure that you say that there's no one is privy to this conversation.
Yeah.
And one thing that I also was asked is have, I would say a little bit complicated meeting and going into executive session, coming back, let's have a dry run. Sit with the IT folks,
Oh,
I'll
sure.
walk you through that, how to do it, how to set it up. And Brian's fairly good, he's written up instructions and all that for people, so that even I can do it.
Yeah, we'll make sure all the folks that are responsible for doing it for their particular meeting are trained,
Yeah.
you know, and understand what they have to do. So, and I know we split into the council comments with Joan, but anybody else online that wanted to speak to us as far as the public?
I would like to, Andrea Miller, 1231
Yes.
Orchard Road.
Yes.
I agree with Joan's concerns as far as the executive session being Zoom or audio via phone. And I think it's great that if we want to remind the members of these commissions what exactly is expected of them and not to say and talk about during these executive sessions is so important and be reminded of. With that being said, the sound and the audio is terrible. I mean, I'm having a hard time understanding in council chambers, and the other rooms that you're talking about where you can go in Zoom don't have half of what you have as far as technology in this room to record or do audio. So if you are going to go forward with this ordinance, you really need to upgrade your rooms so people can hear you. And like me, if I miss a commission meeting, I need to go back to the minutes and in the meeting and listen to it. And as I said, I'm having a hard time listening to some of the council members here in this room. and understanding what they're trying to say. So if you're gonna do this carte blanche over, or try to open this up to all the number of commissions that you are in different rooms, then I really feel you need to upgrade the technology for recording and audio.
Hey, Andrea, this is Arosh. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, but you're not real clear.
Really?
The one person I can hear the best is you and Mark.
And so. Because
Now he's breaking up. He just broke up. I heard nothing he just said made no sense.
it's not probably the sound, it's probably. But I just want to see that if it's just one person or if it's going to say all of you the same, that is not a good idea. Maybe like Sandy, no, please not you. Can you say something, Sandy? I just really want to see what's not working because we go back and I listen to minutes and all. And I'm not trying to say, Andrea, you don't have a good sound system, but I want to figure it out.
It may be my laptop, but I just want to make sure that it is checked into as far as, I mean, I've listened to other meetings out of this room and they're hard to understand.
And I have to agree with you sometimes because when I'm not able to be here and I do it remotely, I usually have a difficult time understanding or hearing everybody. And sometimes without background noise. I think it's better than it was, but can you hear me now?
You're coming through very clear, Donna, but earlier when you were having conversations about the budget or the tax bills, it was very difficult to understand what everybody was saying.
Things have to be right here close.
I-
to my mouth, and I think
I'm
that's the
wondering if
problem.
the mics have to be, I think the mics have to be close, right? How do you hear me now, Andrew? Good?
Mark, you always come through very clear.
You always wear the mark, right?
Always very close.
And again, sometimes we forget to turn the thing on, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yep.
So I think we all need to be a little bit more attention to these things. And then, like, we all talk together at the same time. If you're in the room, we have to get on. But if you're remote, check it. Maybe some etiquette and protocol too.
Yes.
Your days, unless the mayor says you can talk, we can talk.
Well, again, before you put this ordinance through, or once you do, please look into the technology of the other rooms also, because it's not everybody gets to sit in council chambers. They sit in the other small offices that are being recorded.
They did note, Andrew, interesting you say this, they noted, I think it was the Board of Finance meeting, the last Board of Finance meeting, they couldn't get to Zoom, what it's doing, but they just used the call-in number. And the call-in number was crystal clear, I didn't miss anything. I mean, I didn't see anybody, but, you know, I didn't get to see the Board of Finance. But, you know, they don't even see us, but, it was crystal clear on the call-in number. I was shocked at actually how clear it was. I didn't miss anything. I don't know why that was. I didn't do Zoom that night, so I don't know. It should be the, I mean, I don't see. I know, that's what I mean. I did find that, Andrew, just, you know, and I don't know if that's a thing to realize sometimes if Zoom's not quite on, maybe if you use the call-in number. I mean, I did find it to be shockingly crystal clear. So,
Okay.
anyway, just a thought, but yeah, well, my point is taken and we'll, maybe we have to speak up as council members. And I think the mic don't have to be close. I would, right, I think the closer to our mouth, the better it seems to project, you know, it seems to get on there.
I agree. And
Oh,
just one last thing, I believe that this ordinance is going to encourage commission members not to come to the meeting, that they would call in or Zoom in rather than come in. And I understand that there's vacations, there's things that come up, but there is something about the dynamics when a commission is in full staff in that room or any room, when they're all there. That's just my 2 cents, and I will leave it at that. Thank you for your time.
well, thank you, Andrew, but on that point, that's interesting though. So are we to say that all, I mean, many of the people, many of the boards and commissions on this ordinance already do it. So do we have that problem, for instance, on planning and zoning? Do folks not show up? I guess Joan and Audrey are here. Are they not showing up and zooming in all the time? Or I'm just curious if you're thinking
Well,
that.
Well, I can try to address that. We do have some representative or some commission members that do take advantage of Zoom, and they are either traveling or they're having, babysitting issues where they have to be home because the wife has to go to work. And I understand that. But to Andre's point, it really does, it just has a different feel when the full commission, especially with planning and zoning, is there. And when you have a commissioner who's zooming online and they're muted and you cannot see their picture, and all of a sudden you need to have a discussion or you need to call for a vote, and that commissioner is not there, it has a really hurtful perception of the commission. I have a tendency, I will tell you, to try not to utilize Zoomed commissioners, because unless they're a full member, but if it's an alternate that's zooming in, I have a tendency to use the commissioner that is handy and in person, because it's just embarrassing sometimes to keep calling their name and asking them for their vote and they're not there.
Yeah, I mean, listen, maybe it's our generation, but I prefer in person myself. I think it's definitely easier to communicate with your fellow commissioners and or counselors on many topics. It just is, a different dynamic. I mean, I think the younger generation probably prefers Zoom sometimes, but what do you think, Sandy?
Well, I'm just thinking, I don't know if you can hear me or not. But if we're doing this right up as far as executive session, maybe there's something, and I don't know if we can or can't do this, but just a thought of, if you are a commissioner at this meeting, you must be on video. Anyone who's coming from the public, you don't have to be, but if you are a commissioner and you are to be at that meeting in attendance and for it to count, then you need to be on camera. I mean, maybe that's something we can look to add into that.
Look at that.
Have some etiquette expectations, be visual.
Yeah.
Visible.
I just worry that if someone's driving and they are stuck in traffic somewhere, they're gonna call in, maybe that they can't, do the video in their car. I don't know, I think they hesitate to make that rule, and maybe it's something like if you make your very best effort to be, visual and or at the meeting.
I think, and I do not want to give the wrong perception, but I do think it would be helpful if somehow you could put some sort of notice that it's expected that all commissioners, if able, can be in full attendance for the meetings or asked to be attending by Zoom, due to whatever circumstance, but it doesn't run rampant, but it is something that's out there, and I'm not sure if we allow all these commissions to start Zooming, what the end result will be. There's a continuity that lacks. But anyway, I know you guys have a full agenda, so that's all I have to say on the issue, and you guys should have a good night.
So Joan, if it's Donna, if I could just interject, I agree with you. I think that if there's any way for you to be physically present in a meeting, regardless of whether it's a council meeting or any of the other boards and commissions that we have in town, that you should really make every effort to be there, because there is a difference. And I know up in Hartford, for example, it's frowned upon. They want you there at those hearings. They want you there at those meetings. We're past COVID. However, there is exception. You don't feel good, or an instance like me when I'm up in session, I can't be there and here because they're voting and I can't miss a vote, and I need to multitask. And I think that happens 3 or 4 times a year. But I agree with you. I think that if you have taken it upon yourself, or if you've been elected into a position, that you should try to be physically there in a meeting, if you possibly can. I think it is important. And you're right, the dynamic is different to be in person versus no question.
Okay,
I do agree with you, but there is exception to that rule, you know, if you've got COVID, you don't wanna come in, you know, but you don't wanna miss a meeting.
well, I think that we can all, yeah, I agree with you, Donna. I just hope that, you know, we're all adults and we should act like adults, but sometimes unfortunately we have to make make rules to keep people in line. I don't know. But anyway,
It's not, so I think maybe the other point to this is certainly for the members of the council and the different commissions. The point is also the public. That's what I'm almost more concerned with, is the public being able to attend these meetings and not have to come in. I think that's very important. I think some members of the public are intimidated to come in and speak in person. I think this gives them another way to do it. They feel more comfortable in their own home and Zoom to speak. And quite frankly, there's instances of, you know, at different meetings at different times, even council meetings, things were said that weren't said. And if we have a recording of it on Zoom, end the story. You know, a lot of things go on in our meeting, certainly planning and zoning, my goodness, has all kind of things going on, and as do every other board and commission. So that's why we try to pick the ones that have critical issues to our town and allow residents to call in, but also to have a recording of what occurred at that meeting, which can help us in all kind of different scenarios. So it's a double-edged, you know, sword really.
yeah,
Yeah.
I see where your concern is.
Yeah.
Create opportunities for as much citizen participation as possible. I know for myself, it's been convenient to be able to Zoom in because I have 2 small children. I'm a single parent. So, you know, there were times when I simply couldn't find a babysitter or frankly couldn't afford one. So, you know, it was during that time when we had a lot of meetings in September, in spring, it got very expensive for me to be a council member. But I appreciate, you know, even just filling in for Jack's role, the rest of the, but I appreciated that I could be able to do that via Zoom, provided that opportunity. So you want to think about what are these policies you're putting in place and how are they maybe, if you were to be restrictive and say, oh, no Zoom, who are you leaving out of the conversation now and who can no longer participate? A single parent who lives in your town and really, frankly, can't afford the babysitting cost to be at every single meeting. So that's what it does.
Oh, I certainly know that there's always a personal, there's also always a personal element that comes in. I mean, we all say family first, and I don't deny that, but I don't want people or the commission to feel relaxed enough to think they don't have to, or they're, you know, it's not their better nature to get in the car and drive. Why do I want to do that? I can Zoom in. So that's what I'm trying to prevent. You know, so that they won't be lax. But I mean, obviously, yes, situations do come up, and with some of my commissioners, it comes up last minute and it can't be helped. But there is that continuity element. It's a strong element, and it can't be denied either. So, but I understand, yes, the public does want to Zoom in, and I can understand that. Here I am on Zoom land. So I'm a perfect case for you. There you go.
Just one comment, Charlie, down again, me. Last whole scenario after we started Zoom and remote access.
Yeah.
We never had to worry about quorum. We have to call those days. They're like 2 people showing up. Can you come in? Because we have had situations that people can, and it's wonderful that people, and you all volunteers, you have a life, and I think I see there's a great opportunity for us to have this and give the technology to work well, train people and give the right tools. But if you can't join, you never have to worry about quorum and other things for a meeting. Oh, and it's happening. The world is moving in a different direction. And you need to think about the future as that.
Yes.
Who will take the place of all of these people serving in 20 years? A generation of people who live their life in a digital environment. So
20-year term.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. Actually, great. It's a great discussion. Appreciate Joan and Andrew, all of us there in the council. And we kind of mixed in the audience with the council, but it was great to have the discussion. So appreciate all of it. So if there's any other comments, now would be the time from the council members. I know, welcome, set our piece. Yeah,
I
Charlie.
want to say the concerns about violating the secrecy of our executive sessions and so forth. Everybody's on their own, we're all volunteers, no one's prevented from going home and telling somebody what we talked about at the executive session. It's good to point out, use common sense, but we have to respect the integrity of our citizens that are in this is this. I think it's really a danger.
Okay, appreciate that. Anyone else? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and end our council comments, and we'll go ahead and close the public hearing at this time. Thank you all. So, all our business.
New business, rolling right into the first item. The public hearing. Recommendation from ordinance committee, so the public hearing, we just had it. And we have a action item that I use for your consideration.
Yes.
And everything is in here, Tom. It's all on there, Charlie.
No, yeah, we just obviously we just discussed it, and if there's anyone else that wants to add anything from the council, that now would be your time. I know we talked about. I don't believe it would need to be in the ordinance, but we will certainly put a little instruction sheet or just remind folks, right? We'll put that out to the separately to all our boards and commissions that are, new ones that are doing it, and all of us that do it now. Just remind them of the different issues. Right?
Yes,
Yeah.
so we already preparing something because, there's a state statute that was changed in, June of 2021, where if you are doing Zoom or whatever, your agenda should be posted 48 hours prior.
Okay.
All right, so, Attorney Denafio and I spoke about that, I want to get it out to people and everything. So it's a good time to kind of come up with all this stuff, where we put that out at the same time, we put out the information on the new ordinance. And then some of the suggestions made as far as how to.
Yeah.
I know Joan had a concern, or maybe it was Andra, about making this for only certain commissions and boards. Other than aging and cemetery and housing, what are the other ones that don't have to do this? Just kind of curious.
We have the, yeah.
So is there a ton of youth services, yeah, youth advisory?
It was the Commission on Disabilities. Probably the cemetery down in Madison,
For
historic district, it, some of those other ones that I would say.
Just curious.
I understand that this correctly, it doesn't include that. The board just requires this is the minimum.
Yes.
And we encourage the other boards to.
For example, in cemetery committee, we stopped it and then went back to it because we have a member who sometimes be better with Zoom. So it's definitely, as you just said, the other committees can use it if they want.
I hate to do this, it might get not all.
It is.
Can you hear Andra and Joan? I'm curious.
I'm sorry, I couldn't understand where the conversation went with that.
Joan, did you hear me when I spoke?
No, I'm sorry. It's very muddled. It's almost like I'm getting an echo.
And I've had the same experience when I'm not here. It's frustrating.
When I finally get to it, I don't have,
Here,
I have problems in Atlantic City and Rose told me how to take care of it.
Yeah,
Since then, it's been fine.
really. I think people just need to speak clearly,
Yeah.
loudly, and not
Stipulate, try not to.
You never want to go to Atlantic City.
If it works in another city, that's our next meeting. So. So,
So there's a multitude of them, there's not just 4 or 5.
yeah, there's others that, yeah, and again, we try
I
to.
was just curious, Benny.
Yeah, not too many that, doing it. And again, like, you know, Charlie said it best, right? You encourage them all to do it, but. Yeah, we're requiring certain ones just because the issues that they do handle are, do tend to draw more attention. And again, it all comes down to, my bottom line is transparency. I think that's the most important thing we could offer our citizens and residents, to be able to zoom in on a particular issue and maybe not have to drive here for one issue. And wait half a meeting until it comes up on the agenda. So that's really what, you know, what it's all about, which is important. Okay, anyone else? So we'll go ahead and take a motion.
Move to accept an ordinance that requires all meetings of Board of Police Commissioners, Board of Assessment Appeals, Board of Finance, Board of Education, and Town Council Ordinance Committee, Conservation Commission, Inland Wetlands and Water Courses Commission, Planning and Zoning Commission, Water Control Commission, Zoning Board of Appeals shall be accessible to the public and recorded via Zoom or other conferencing platforms, unless the town council public excuses an individual board from said requirement for a particular meeting. Town shall provide advance notice of meetings, including whether the meetings are to be held in person, hybrid, or fully remote, in accordance with Connecticut law, and the meeting shall be likewise be conducted in compliance with applicable law, including the Connecticut Freedom of Information Act.
Thank you. Second on that?
I'll second that.
All right, thank you. Any other comments or questions? Had great discussion on this. If not, hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries.
Excellent. Thank you. Agenda item number 2 is a transfer of fund from general fund account to Russell soccer field improvement account. It's got to do with, yeah, 3%. And I have Mr. Steve Wood here, give you.
You thought you were gonna get it out of here.
What's that?
You need to go to the Board of Finance after this.
Oh, no.
Nobody's ever told me I'm too quiet, so I'm pretty sure everybody can hear me. So what we're looking to do is currently going into the personal soccer improvement project, we knew that we had a very low contingency of only $12,000. So throughout savings throughout the year, we were able to combine a bunch of accounts and come up with $40,000 to add the contingency for the personal soccer. That would be used for soil amendment, any type of other type of earthwork that we needed to bring fill or extra topsoil in. With the whole project. I mean, our biggest concern, I believe, is the northeast side where those valleys and pumps are. We know that throughout the last 22 years, most of that is decomposed and all the particles have washed down. But we don't know how much more fill we're gonna have to bring in, after we peel everything off to fill those low points. Try to get us safe.
Great, great. Good. All right, yeah, so what else you got?
That's
That's it, that's it?
that's basically, I mean,
Patient's sitting there all the time doing this, but. We need somewhere else, yeah.
There,
They gotta get somewhere else, so we'll make the Board of Finance stay late too. They always seem to get out earlier than us, let me wait.
They're getting up and leave you.
they're still going to be out.
Oh, are they? Oh, we'll be there for a while. Yeah.
Jimmy's not.
That's right, I forgot they're downstairs.
This is.
Oh, yeah. All right, so, yeah, no, I think we're good. Any questions for? We're good? Okay, gotta take one.
Move to approve the transfer of $40,000 from the general fund park and grounds account, electricity, fencing, maintenance, repair, and blue collar personnel to Percival Soccer Field Improvement Account, way to increase contingency for the Percival Soccer Field.
Okay, second on that,
Second that.
any other comments or questions? None, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you very much.
Thank
Just
you.
let you know that water and wetland will begin this week, to treat all the invasive species at upper and lower neighborhoods.
Oh, no.
Posted
Oh, good.
everything, we put them all up there at everybody's doors, and I don't think as of yet we've seen anything on social media for the first time, so.
So.
Have a great night.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 3, purchase assignments, one request so that we have, vendors stand by, to when. Get the part from Napa Auto, Advanced Auto, Tasca, when that was for truck parts. Most of them do have, contracts, most of, the state or Sourcewell that already gone out to bid. But this is to give flexibility to certain limit that will allow the garage to go and buy it. That's the way it operates, you know, this like whether it's vehicles or police or something breaks, it can't really go out, put in the process and give it light. So Tim was going to explain it further, but barely come. So
I think we've seen this before, understand the reason for it, LaRoche, thank you for that. Questions, folks? No, we're good, so we'll go ahead and take the motions here, sure.
You want me to read each one of these separately, or can I list this?
I think you gotta read them separately, because the last two are labor bids. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Rather short.
Move to approve the purchase of auto parts and supplies using Sourcewell contract 032521 GPC from Napa Auto Parts for the amount not to exceed $40,000.
Second, thank you, second on that.
Second that.
Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so moved.
Move to approve the purchase of auto parts and supplies using the above U.S. Communities contract from Advanced Auto for the amount not to exceed $15,000.
Second on that,
I'll second that.
thank you. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so moved.
Move to approve the purchase of auto parts and supplies using the above state Connecticut Department of Administration Services contract 19PSX0189 from Casco Ford for an amount not to exceed $25,000.
Okay,
I'll second that.
thank you.
I can make it comment on website.
Yeah.
the task force, being a local,
Yeah, that's great.
that's great to see.
Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so moved.
Move to waive the town bidding procedures to approve the purchase of auto parts and supplies from Monaco Ford for an amount not to exceed $40,000. Since this is in the best interest of the town.
Second on that?
Second.
There's no other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so moved.
Move to waive the town's bidding procedures to approve the purchase of auto parts and supplies from municipal truck parts for an amount not to exceed $20,000. This is in the best interest of the town.
Second on
I'll second that.
that? No comments or questions? We'll vote on the motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so moved.
Thank you. Agenda item number 4, is to schedule a public hearing for the golf cart lease. I see Mr. Sandro is online, but he's on vacation, but dedicated.
Now, there we go.
So this has to do because it's a lease, the all leases have to go to a public hearing first. It's an ordinance. We were here before. Who asked for the same request for the service card. And these are for the actual golf carts that people use, and every 5 years. If the service life was pretty bad, worn seats and things all over the place, so we have this brand new parts, but we have to go through this process. Hey Sal, thanks for joining. Do you want to add anything?
Hi, Mr. Meyer. Hi, Rose. Council, Miss Kate. Just want to say these geofencing we're putting on the carts, they're going to help the course so much. The longevity of just the product the course will be, the conditions around the greens, because it has a technology to stop carts from coming as close as like 30 yards to 15 yards from the greens. So we'll really stop a lot of the traffic around the greens and have a better chance of growing grass. But also when it's like raining, it's nice to have because we can keep carts like only in the side perimeters. And, so again, longevity of our fairways and conditions of our golf course. So.
Great, so thank you, that's excellent, sounds good.
That's something new that we're doing this in addition to the cost, this installation of the geo. I think to South's point, will really help the course a lot. Some people don't listen, they drive on.
So we take it through Joyride on the Chamberlain Highway? Yeah, that's good. Jump off, so then we'll get you. That's good. Great, excellent. Any questions? If not, go ahead and take a motion.
Move to authorize the town manager to schedule a public hearing at 7 p.m. on July 11th, 2023.
That's today.
No, that's my fault. That should be for the 18th next week.
So we'll change it maybe for the 25th.
Oh, is it the 25th?
Hearing at 7 p.m. on July 25th, 2023. Concerning the approval of the contract to lease golf carts with PS Shield units, EasyGo, using PNC Bank National Association, the amount not to exceed $481,813.25 with golf carts and $84,222.25 Shield units. Yearly payments will be in the amount not exceeding $56,362.65 for the golf carts, $16,844.45 with Shield units, starting 8/1/23 and ending 8/1/27.
Great, second,
I'll second that.
thank you. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so moved.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you. Have a good night.
We certainly do.
And for the new benefit of the new members, this is all coming from the all corporate state. The ordinance required things we gave it the revenues that they're bringing, so this stuff. Effectively, it looks like. Yeah, right, thank you. All right, agenda item number 5. This is to watch the you listen, I go away. Ordinance requires.
You're going away?
Yeah. Can't say that in public. So this one actually concerns Mike because I gave a start date and I said until the manager of field manager out that there is no end date. Can't give a date, but change and it's a delay. So again, August 3rd to 20th, that's the time I'm planning, posting delay.
No, I can't go.
Yeah. Kate and I have this thing, only time in the year that every other, rest of the 11 months, either you're preparing for a meeting or having time.
Yeah,
So,
August, as a break.
yeah, so,
These sons.
yeah, I have pulled all stuff and was to plan. Some of them have in the past, for whatever reason, call an emergency meeting because something had to get approved. Good, right. So we'll avoid that this year as much as possible. So I have a question that the G point Mike was appointed last couple of years.
Yeah, makes sense. We need something, like I said, something always seems to come up, no matter what his plan. Think of that.
Exactly.
Just needs to be that thing. Okay, yeah, so take a motion on that.
Move to approve the appointment of Mr. Mike Ahern as temporary town manager during the absence of the town manager, effective noon on Thursday, August 3rd, 2023, until town manager resumes managerial powers.
Second on that.
I will second that.
But we'll say Mike did do a good job with it. So, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So-
So I was gonna. Tell Joe, I thought. We We're gonna wait for a while, but he's driving too. We want the. Floods out.
It doesn't get walked away.
Yeah, I know. But as I mentioned, his last note said successful closing. Should have confirmation tomorrow morning. I'll notify all of you, and if anything changes, I'll let you know either way. So I think that's good news, they're really all excited about. Project move forward, that's great, and we'll come together soon. We talked about the. PD pension. Once. While the 60 days is going on, Kevin, Paul and I have been working with financial advisor, Fusion, to get them to prepare an RFI request for information, get an asset manager. Because we need to have that lined up by September 1st to actually move the money from EC and then also the town contribution and set up the actual plan itself. So once we get the information, none of the bigger ones will be interested because it's small pension to start with. Like US Bank, Webster, Schwab, the spot, and we already produce with Webster. So let's get the information, see who's interested, and we'll take back on that. So it's going on schedule by September 1. I think we'll have like.
And are we doing financial, because maybe it's up to the union, I don't know, to all the officers, so, I mean, I know they can seek their own advice, which probably is a good idea, but is there anyone they can speak to that? We kind of talked about that,
Yeah.
make sure they understand what their decision
Getting
will be.
into.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah. So, I mean, we can.
I mean, 60 days is not a long time. It's time to
But
get
Lots of
a
chickens.
huge decision like that.
So I'm just repeating what the unit saying, there's a lot of people have been waiting for this for 2 years, right? So it's not like something new,
Yeah,
and it's a defined benefit plan, right? It's not very complicated, you take your number of fees of service, you have an Excel, 2%, you know how much you're gonna get, right? It's then none of them will be expected to manage the assets.
right.
So
That's
as long as they understand the plan, that is our responsibility.
Is there someone in the town, I don't know that our contractor, not the town. Our, just the 401k now.
The 401k, they can talk about the DC plan.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
They move away from the DC plan. They talk about,
right.
but those who are staying in it. Folks, they're very. Excited to go with it.
Yeah, so they,
I don't know if they'll stay, I don't know.
yeah, but I mean, well, I mean, they know that.
They manage things really well, but so all of us get access to a financial advisor one-on-one.
Oh,
It's available.
oh,
And they can book a time,
oh, okay.
and I'm pretty surprised how many people don't take advantage of that. And,
Or is that something different?
yeah, Mission Square,
Yeah,
right.
so those are the
So they
ones.
sit, they pull your numbers and they talk about the allocation,
Oh,
you've done it, Dave, right?
oh, okay, so that's available, all the town employees.
Yeah, and
I think for 3 days, I think today was the blue collar, right? And then tomorrow and 15th or something. I think Paula sent an email out about that, right? Am I
Oh.
correct?
Okay, good.
Although it's first come, first served, so depending on what slots are available, there may not be enough, I don't know.
we'll get it. There's nothing called running out. It never runs out. It's contrary, just the opposite. People keep the person's just waiting and what is there.
Okay,
So,
yeah, so I mean, I don't know, maybe the approach, I mean, maybe, but a lot of people don't understand that. As long as they have the they have an opportunity through the town to talk to someone.
one thing with advice and Tony would advise too, that we will not advise them what option to pick.
No.
this is the plan that we are providing. This is an option that you have. This is what you're gonna get. Stay with the DC plan, just stay with it.
Yes,
And then we can do the application.
yes. I mean, I would strongly urge anyone, I don't care if they think they understand it or not, to get
more information.
more information, get their own financial advisor. Whoever they think they need to talk to, right? That's always a good thing to do for your financial. you know. But that's good, they at least have someone that can explain, so they understand it if they have questions. Yeah, okay.
And so we'll keep you posted. To get in there, what the final result, I think, right, that they do.
Yeah.
The PD renovation, the Public Building Commission will be this Thursday. They still haven't finalized the big package.
Okay.
Part of the reason is there is a component that they want to add to the big package has to do with the oil and water separator related to Sally Port. That was included in it, so they'll include that. And once they have it, they'll send it out. Said in 30 days, they should be able to get a response back. By their pricing. Sure, the Board of Finance will discuss it now. I think that might be a recommendation from council to ask them to give some options.
Yeah. Yeah. We need out.
Because.
And so, right, yeah, September is the next time that
Yes.
there was, will be funding coming out of the state, so hopefully we'll be able to get on that since it was pulled 3 days before last 6:30 date, so. We continue, and Senator Lopes and, Rep. Pazino are both on board, and we've sent several letters to, the governor.
Thank you. All right.
Yeah.
Two more items. These are actually very good items. I'm proud to share with you.
They're all good.
Yeah, but this other one, the next one that I'm talking about is kudos to Kevin and Wacker, who's the payroll manager. They've been working this for almost 2 years to fully automate the time attendance. We used to have big piece of paper with triple copies.
Yeah.
One goes to the manager, one to payroll, all finance, and we've been using that since we've been using it forever, I guess, from 1950.
1954, cool.
Okay. We just got it up in completely. They rolled it out with the town staff, with the training, with the the garage folks, and clocks. So some of them have clocks, punch in, punch out.
Yeah.
And then the staff and others can go computer. Request your vacation, sick time, everything. It goes automatically, email gets populated into the field, it's a queue, you go inside, approve. Like anything else, it's a learning curve and things will improve, but I'm really, and the autumn and feeds the payroll, no one's inputting, there's some stuff used to get manually, I would have to attend at the hours.
That's never good.
Input all those things, and errors happen, and then if you think, if you have an error, you can't complete it and submit it. So you need to fix it before it goes, so it takes the overhead back on the staff. So kudos to Kevin and Donna for that.
It's good to hear.
It's really moving on.
Things is good.
Exactly. So speaking of another one with coming to the 21st century, we have always had a manual process for staff hiring, recruitment, all of that posted. There is a piece of paper you have to go and write your name, all the qualifications, everything. And then it comes into payroll and not payroll for HR, and then somebody has to sort it out. And then once you decide to hire the person, it has to manually be filled by someone else. So this one, Paula, but I was HR director, worked with Payco, and she rolled out this new application. You want to apply to the town, now you go online, you have one link, you have all your credentials, fill it in. And, I had this when I worked at the university. What's good is just even in the back end, when you need to pull reports and data, when you apply for grants, And if you don't have to answer like how many people applied, for the job or overall, men versus women, you know, the race, gender, you can get all those things from the application itself rather than somebody sitting and going through the paper and finding out. So hats off to Paul. She pulled this off. I put this on a radar, but this year she knocked it off last year itself. So, and
Did
that's,
you see that when she got hired and said, oh my God, I gotta fix this? I mean, did she?
she all has that reaction. So,
Fix. That's what I don't need.
and I think probably it's like a lot of these things, people having the right people makes a big difference and understanding technology. So we can put about those two. And that's it.
That's it. All right. Thank you very much.
I like Charlie being scared next day. I was short, huh, today?
Yeah, very sure.
One thing I did to make sure, Bobby had sent you an email about that bridge, right, so we had paid for that. It was roughly $300,000 and the DOT finally responded to my letter. It looks like we should be getting that
So we
soon.
find all the
Yep.
documents, send it back,
Okay,
so.
well, good, you're welcome. I just want to make sure that finally got taken care of.
Great.
Is that 2017 or?
Yeah.
No.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
But
Yes, so at least they responded to our letter. Did they really? Is that what happened?
They did do
I
that.
don't know what the issue was, but is that what happened?
They put it back. Yeah. That's okay.
Well, the holes were drilled in the piers on one side, didn't match the piers on the other side. And they put it in. All they had. They fixed it, it's fine. I go over it all the time.
Peter, go on, hey, I'm on the other side. Want to drive over here and see the stone? Thanks, your boss. I get that funny. All right. Special committee report day? I don't think there hasn't been any, other than the emergency committee, which we just go. I took care of that. Okay, council communication.
Mary.
Yay. Yeah.
Two, I got one left.
That's
Wow.
true.
Yeah, very excited.
you should not respond to email about the day of the.
And like, this, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely, you're welcome.
We got any other council communication?
I promise I'll. Evening.
Work, you know.
We've been glad. Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone else? No. Acceptance and take a motion for the June 20th meeting.
Move we accept the minute for the June 20th meeting.
Second,
I'll second that.
thank you very much. Any other council questions? None, all those in favor? Opposed? So. And we are, oh, yes, we are in our, make a motion to do executive session.
We will be. Make a motion, move to executive session, for litigations. Act of General Statute, section 1-1. The strategy negotiations with respect to pending claims, pending litigation, stop and shop, after. Writing and.
Do, so allow it.
So, now, step out, but she wants to step out. Report in the meeting.
Yes.
Because if you agree, you gotta go back to regular session and vote on this.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna pause everything.
Yeah.
Want it back to.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are, yeah.
Settlement.
And move we approve the settlement and the driveway corporation council for the Stop and Shop tax appeal.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Should we put dollar? Or it doesn't matter?
I,
No, doesn't matter. We don't need to, okay, great.
As long as you're.
Yes, okay, great. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor? Opposed? All right, so moved. The end of motion.
Move.
Second. Favor? Aye. Yeah. Well, I knew that, but we think so, well, we always do. Somebody always says, you know, we always get these discussions.